Joining me now, Democratic strategist Hank Scheinkoff, columnist, New York Daily News, Errol Lewis, syndicated columnist Miguel Perez. Gentlemen, good to have you here. Non-binding resolution. The Congress is asserting itself.
Not when they start changing the budget of the military to try to stop outlays that fund this war. Then you'll know they're serious. They're not serious. This is a way for them to make the folks back home feel warm and bubbly, and even the Republicans who know that some of them may be in trouble join with the gang in Washington to vote for this resolution that has absolutely no power.
You agree, Errol?
Well, on one level, it's just like a public opinion poll. These just happen to be 435 more people who are agreeing in roughly the same proportions with what the American public wants. You're right, though. If they actually put some teeth behind it, it would look like something else. They didn't need this shot across the bow for the administration. The administration already knows where the public is. The administration already knew where the Congress is. So it does have a kind of an empty kind of ring to it.
And I don't see anybody feeling warm and bubbly because people see through this. Everybody sees what's going on. Non-binding. What? It doesn't mean anything.
Well, and John Murtha, Hank, he's laying it out there pretty clearly where he is on Iran.
He got there this morning. He got there. It was Friday morning. The New York Times. He was pretty clear about it, and he got in front of the speaker and he said no troops, so long as he's around, going to Iran.
Now, what does that do to Nancy Pelosi?
Well, it kind of shows who's trying to be boss, doesn't it? You don't usually get in front of the speaker in a very controlled way. You just don't do that. But Murtha did.
Is there bad blood between these two?
Based upon the previous leadership battles, I would suspect it's not the most lovey-dovey environment you've ever been in.
The idea that there would be this kind of friction, do you think it'll have any effect on the way this Democratic Congress is led?
Well, not just in the Congress, but even beyond. On this whole question of what to do about Iran, those who have been saying it's time for diplomatic outreach, diplomacy means talking, they've got something to talk about now. When you've got hard proof of Iranian munitions being used to attack American troops, it's going to be a very different kind of discussion than it would have been otherwise.
It's a very different discussion, but yet Murtha is sitting here drawing a pretty strong line. And as this evidence mounts, I mean, the real questions are now, because as our Michael Ware reported, there is indisputable evidence that Iranian munitions are there, that the Quds Force from Iran is moving this stuff in.
And all options have to be left on the table. The president has to have the military option. I understand what Ms. Pelosi is saying about him having to consult Congress if he is going to invade Iran, but at the same time, you can't tie the president's hands and say only a diplomatic solution here, because then Iran knows this.
Yep, but at the same time, Miguel, I mean, we have the question, either way this breaks, there are some serious questions for people in this administration to answer and in the Pentagon. One, why are you saying that you will absolutely categorically not attack Iran if indeed they are killing our troops and facilitating their murders? What are they? I mean, they're in a no-win position here. That I can see in any way?
And the president has to take a stand on this. I mean, what our government is doing is basically, shutting their eyes to what's going on with Iran. I mean, they keep doing things that obviously they're involved in Iraq up to here, and we don't do anything about it. Our administration just basically wants to ignore this.
Is this a trap for the Democrats in Congress as well?
This may be a trap for the Democrats in Congress, but it's consistent with American political history. Americans consistently, for the last 50 years, in public opinion polling, are not happy about wars that take a long time to conclude. They weren't happy about the Second World War when it didn't look like we were winning. They're not happy about anything that is a longer-term adventure.
Well, this is the 5-day-a-week Congress, Errol, and yet with President's Day Monday, Congress takes 5 days off. What's going on?
Well, it's their version of a long weekend, I guess. Since they figure they'll be back home, why not just take off the remaining 3 days? And that's probably the most charitable way you could put it. Wouldn't
it be the remaining 4 days?
Well, the Friday, I never bought into the Friday thing. Friday's travel day, and just the fact that this gets to be such a big issue, whether or not they're going to even do any work, I think tells you kind of where we're at with the Congress.
And you're talking about the new Democratic leadership, the controlling Congress that was going to do all these things, and basically all they're thinking about is vacation.
I got to pass on this one, guys, and I'll tell you why. Because part of what goes on when you're in the district is hard work. There's enough research and data to prove the fact. Those guys do casework. They got to see people.
Right.
You got to get home.
And that's why that previous Congress, led by the Republicans, didn't have time to get much done, I suppose.
No, I'm not going to fight you, Lou.
Hank, thanks a lot. Errol, thank you very much. Miguel, thank you. We'll be right back with our panel. Stay right with us.
FedEx saved us with their overnight service, so we've added FedEx Ground for everyday shipping.
Ground? That doesn't sound fast. Actually, Joel, FedEx Ground is faster than you think.
You can't judge things by their name. Don't you agree, Harry?
Absolutely.
Eileen?
Of course.
Joy? Bob?
You see, Joel, we all agree that FedEx Ground is fast, despite the name Ground.
Well said, Mr. Turkeyneck.
FedEx Ground. Fast, reliable, and for less than you think.
Between my two phone bills, it's probably about $60 a month.
About $150.
Probably $100 a month.
With Vonage, you get unlimited calls to anywhere in the U.S. and Canada, and all the cool features you could ever want are included. It's just $24.99 a month for unlimited local and long-distance calling, including free calls to Canada and Europe.
Call 1-800-939-4VON and get 1 month free.
Vonage, a better way to phone for less.
What do you know about computers?
My daughter definitely knows how to use a computer better than I do half the time, and she's 3.5.
Hi, I'm John Scherer, CEO and founder of Video Professor. I've been hearing comments like that for over 18 years now. Listen to this.
I did the Excel, and it was a lot of fun. I had a real good time. I learned a lot.
The difference, just 1 hour with one of my CDs, and they're easy to use. The CD plays like a video on your computer screen. Just follow the step-by-step instructions. And if you call right now, I'll send you any lesson of your choice free. The reason I can do this is because I know that once you try my product, you'll come back to us for all your computer learning needs. If you can't learn for any reason, I'll not only refund your shipping and processing, but I'll send you $10. So learn a new skill in less than an hour. Try my product.
I think that's the most fun I've had, learning something about the computer.
To get your free computer learning CD, you must call now. Call 1-800-701-3063.
The private thoughts and words of Martin Luther King Jr. revealed here in detail for the first time. His plans, his fears, his dreams. Words that changed a nation.
CNN Special Investigations Unit, tonight, 8 Eastern.
Closed captioning provided by Head On. Head On applied directly to the forehead.
Head On, applied directly to...
Head On, apply directly to the forehead. Head On, apply... Head On, I hate your commercial, but I love your product.
Head On is available without a prescription.
We're back with Hank Sheinkoff, Errol Lewis, Miguel Perez. Let's turn to you, Miguel. We've got a big old field now of people who want to be president of the United States. Rudy Giuliani, Mitt Romney, the newest entries. Getting pretty excited?
Yeah. I like Mr. Giuliani. I'm glad he finally made up his mind. You know, what's interesting about Mr. Giuliani is that people around the country, those of us who live in New York, know a different Giuliani. Know the guy who really fixed up New York. Right. If you go to Times Square in Manhattan, you know the difference. But around the country, people only know him for 9/11. And you're talking about a guy who's a real, take action leader. I think Mr. Giuliani will do very well.
You agree, Hank?
I certainly do. He had the best week of all the candidates. Why? Because the movement of primaries in industrial states up earlier on the calendar makes it more likely that he will have momentum going to the South, where social issues, and frankly, as mayor of New York, you've got to be a little bit to the left, are not going to be used against him.
Errol?
Yeah, we in New York who have followed him, he was at an all-time low right before September 11th in local polls. What's interesting is there's plenty of stuff all over the web. A lot of his internal campaign documents have been found and published, and they document in exquisite detail all of his weaknesses, all kinds of different problems, family problems, political problems, a draft problem. He sort of got his way out of the draft during the Vietnam era.
Sure.
And it seems in a way like he might be inoculated because right. it's all out there. And anybody who's going to do anything would have done it by now.
Whatever anyone thinks of Bill Clinton, he provided considerable inoculation over inhaling the draft, any number of issues.
But it proves that frankly, that public performance far outweighs private problems, and the public knows that, and they want to see real action.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, and I think the public really doesn't care about all this personal stuff. No. They want to see somebody, a capacity, character, vision, principle, and some energy, irrespective of the party, irrespective of the candidate, I think. Let me ask you this. Let's take a look at that USA. We've got that USA Today Gallup poll we'd like to show you now, showing Giuliani against Clinton. Now, Hank, you're the Democratic strategist here. Is this a problem?
It is a problem, but the real issue in 2008 will be the income and wage gap. It'll be the economics of this country. It'll be really the economics of the auto industry and everything related to it, the halo effect of all of that. Democrats tend to do better on economic arguments than Republicans do, but this will be a close race. Rudy Giuliani would be well advised to grab economic arguments early and hold on to them.
We're hearing less and less of John McCain. I don't know if this is some sort of just recession on his part.
I think one point you missed is the war in Iraq and possibly in Iran in 2008. I think that will still be a valid issue. And Mr. McCain, Senator McCain, has a lot to gain or to lose depending on how this troop surge goes. He's the one that advocated the surge all along, and if it fails, he's doomed.
I think that accounts for his decline in the polls, actually.
The surge plus.
Absolutely. He's the only major national candidate who's been calling for more and more troops into Iraq at a time when most of the public wants exactly the opposite.
Al Franken wants to be senator from the state of Minnesota. Good idea?
Great idea. Great idea.
It really depends.
We just want to give a little straw poll for the folks in Minnesota.
I think it's a great idea. I don't know if I agree with him on everything, but...
Let him run. Let's see what the people of Minnesota decide.
There you go. All right. Thank you very much. Hank, Errol, thank you very much. Miguel, thank you very much. And thank you for being with us tonight. Please join us tomorrow. For all of us, we thank you for watching. We hope you have a great week. Good night from New York.